A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 6, verses 24 to 34. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. You can't worship two gods at once. Loving one God, you'll end up hating the other. Adoration of one feeds contempt for the other. You can't worship God and money both. If you decide for God, living a life of God worship, it follows that you don't fuss about what's on the table at mealtimes or whether the clothes in your closet are in fashion. There is far more to your life than the food you put into your stomach, more to your outer appearance than the clothes you hang on your body. Look at the birds, free and unfettered, not tied down to a job description, careless in the care of God, and you count far more to Him than birds. Has anyone by fussing in front of the mirror ever got 10 taller by so much as an inch? All this time and money wasted on fashion, do you think it makes that much difference? Instead of looking at the fashions, walk out into the fields and look at the wild flowers. They never primp or shop, but have you ever seen color and design quite like it? The 10 best dressed men and women in the country look shabby alongside them. If God gives such attention to the appearance of wild flowers, most of which
Reflections on the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 6, verses 24 to 34. You cannot serve God and wealth. Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious, do not worry about your life. Worshipping money or wealth was a problem even in the days of Jesus as it is today. All the worries about life and anxieties originates from the worship of wealth instead of worshiping God. We live in an age of anxiety. Today's gospel invites us to abandon ourselves into the hands of God our Father and worship Him alone. Then we move from fear and anxiety to trust and faith because He is our Father who cares for us. The early church in the community of the evangelist Matthew was so concerned about the possession and use of wealth. Many rich people nurtured the perfect excuse that wealth and riches are the blessings from God. Nobody disagreed on that either, but the real issue was about how to utilize this wealth. Hence, the gospel cautions the wealthy members of the community to pay attention not to give their hearts to the money god. The message is all the more relevant for the members of the church today. Reliance on one's wealth and riches can only bring one to greater anxieties and fear. Real peace of mind and happiness in life comes from God our Father. Matthew moves his attention from the rich people of his community to the poorer ones. They were the ones struggling for their daily needs. The evangelist brings them Jesus' message of consolation. Do not be worried about life. Jesus encourages his disciples to trust God. If we are children of God, He also knows for sure about all our needs. A God who takes care of every little plant, every living creature on this planet will not leave us alone. The gospel reminds us today of our intrinsic value. We are of greater value than all the plants and birds and fish and animals of this world because God's children carry the image of God. The gospel also cautions us today about how to value our fellow brethren who are around us. It is not uncommon in today's world that many people consider their pet animals and birds more valuable than people. Jesus reminds his disciples to trust God of the kingdom, the God of the enough. Worries and fears are signs of absence of faith. Therefore, a Christian cannot afford to be anxious. You cannot be scared. Jesus was realistic. In his prayer, Jesus had taught us to pray, "Give us each day our bread for the day." That was today's need. God did not promise tomorrow's bread. All what is called for is trust. Each day's trust would remove each day's worry.